there was something I was thinking about that is actually about suffering. So hey guys. So I was just kind of thinking, I posted a quote yesterday about suffering, and it's just kind of top of mind for me. Hey Seth, hi bestie. It's just kind of top of mind for me. I think it's important for us to acknowledge something, and it's something I really deeply study and I care a lot about because I think that it's something we all experience, right? We all suffer at times in our life, and life can be kind of hard. And I think that the more that we acknowledge our suffering, the less intense it can be. The more that we can be kind of okay. Aloha from Kansas. So good to see you. So, a couple thoughts that come into my head when I think about this. The first one is, what is suffering, right? So when I think about this, the first thing that kind of pops into my head is physical pain, like horrible physical pain. Then the second thing that kind of comes into my head is mental, emotional, spiritual pain. All of the other different bodies that we have, those pains. And then the third thing that I think about, but I've started to study a lot more and lean into a lot more, is pleasure grasping. So, big caveat, I think that pleasure is a wonderful thing. I think that a long time coming hug with somebody you love, or for me, I think of like my favorite Twister's Concrete with Reese's peanut butter cups and chocolate, and there's so many wonderful daily pleasures and indulgences we can take part of in life. And I also think that there are sometimes things that we want so badly that it's like our life doesn't really start until we reach a certain point, right? So I call that pleasure grasping. So to give you like an idea, there was a point in my life that I wasn't in physical pain, definitely had some emotional and mental pain, but I was gripping on so hard to this idea of like, when I meet my life partner, my life starts. Like things are really going to happen when I meet that person. Or like another example of this would be, once I have this much in my bank account, my life starts. Or once I can go on that trip, or I can buy a house, or we can become pregnant. You just are gripping the reins of life so tightly until this certain thing happens. And that's kind of what I think about pleasure grasping. And I think that there's been many different reasons in my life, and I think in many people's different lives, that we suffer. But I think one of the ones that goes the most unnoticed is this false idea in our heads that our lives began when we hit this certain thing. And that's kind of where we're holding on to this false idea of happiness. Hi, Ria. So kind of where my head's at today around suffering. I also think that when we think about this, something to think about is that like everything we need, we already are. So finding your person, buying the house, having this much money, having a kid, going on the trip, getting the new job, though these things may make massive changes in your life, you are what makes you happy, and everything that you need, you already are. And we could all loosen the reins, I know, including myself, of the pressures and societal pressures that we think that we need to achieve in order to find happiness, because really that's all, most of the time, a bunch of self-imposed suffering. So that's where I'm at. I think that we don't need to be fixed. We are already whole people, and we are all on a journey of coming back to that whole person that we are. And there's bumps along the way. We are perfectly imperfect humans, and we don't need to be fixed. We're just on a journey of coming back to our truest, most whole selves. So a little bit of suffering talk for your Thursday. This is what I'm thinking about as I'm driving home from one of my favorite people in the world, lunch with my grandmother. This is what pops into my head. So thought I'd share it with you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing this space with me. Have a wonderful rest of your week.